Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Nick Walker. I'm an events officer here at the Academy of Interactive Entertainment, the Lafayette campus. Today, I'm joined by Mac Donovan, one of our students on our campus. Mac, thank you for joining us today. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
For sure. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Mac Donovan. I am a year 2 game art and animation student. This year I've been functioning as the Lafayette art lead for the major production project Attic Antiquities. Before I came to AIE, I spent a lot of time working on traditional art, and as I moved into high school, I got into more digital stuff, which is kind of how I discovered AIE a bit. And after doing all that, I kind of started moving on to professional projects. A lot of my portfolio is made up of pieces I made for either AP Studio Art or Mural and Art Decor Club in senior year of high school. And then after that, I moved on to more professional things like personal commissions and also higher level commissions for album covers. But once I started at AIE, I really shifted my focus and putting all my energy into the work that I was doing here.
That's incredible. It's incredible. And you are a game art and animation student, correct? Year 2, right?
Yes.
That is incredible. Awesome. So tell me, why did you select AIE as your college choice? Like, what stood out?
So other than like the education being something that I aligned with, and it was exactly what I wanted to do. I mean, I had been playing video games for so long, and obviously I didn't go into it with the mindset of, oh, I'm going to play video games every day.
Of
But,
course.
I saw a school that not only lined up with exactly what I wanted to learn about, but I also had a friend who had told me about AIE.
Yeah.
They were really interested in attending, and when I was a senior in high school, they became a first year here at Lafayette's campus, and they told me about the environment being really welcoming and inclusive, and also it's really nice for neurodivergent people with hands-on and visual learning. So I knew I needed to give it a shot. You can't pass up the opportunity for good education and a really hands-on environment.
Hey, it's a great point. I love it. So tell me about your favorite thing you've learned at AIE so far. I know there's a lot to learn as a game art and animation student. You have the 3D modeling pipeline, 3D art pipeline, animation. So what has really stood out for you?
For sure. I've kind of enjoyed everything. I like being able to go through all of the different pipelines and kind of pick and choose what your specialty is. But for me, learning about rigging has been my favorite thing. I like learning about how to make a character operate because you get to add bones and controllers that give animators the power to be able to make this character move like a puppet. It just kind of scratches a good itch in my brain. And it makes me laugh how almost every other artist will tell you they will never touch rigging or weight painting a day in their life, and it's cathartic to me. I enjoy it.
Wow. So look, it sounds really intense. Can you actually explain what rigging is? I'm not too familiar. If you could kind of give it to me in layman's terms.
For sure. So rigging is essentially the pipeline of creating a digital skeleton and its connected controllers for a 3D model. This allows for animators to come in and pose the skeletal mesh in any way that they want. So someone would take a model that has been made in either ZBrush, Maya, Blender, whatever you want, and it'll be rigged from there. So the skeleton is set up like real life anatomy. All of the bones are interconnected through a hierarchy, and moving a parent bone will move all the child bones that are connected to it. So if you think about bending your elbow, your hand is going to move with it because that's a child bone of this parent.
Yeah, makes sense.
And after creating the skeleton and its controllers that go with it, which are used because animators don't want to move joints directly, you don't want to affect that. Weight painting is a big part of it. So once the 3D model is bound to the skeleton, the mesh would be weighted so that the bones in the character's knee, for example, would not affect anything else on the leg. So if you wanted to move your knee, you don't want your hip to move at the same time as your knee.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's incredible. So what are you currently working on? Are you applying these rigging skills to any particular projects?
Yes, so I'm currently working on Attic Antiquities, which is one of our major production games, one of the 3. So we initially came into this project thinking that we're just going to be going for a simple, cartoony, spooky doll repair game.
Okay.
We just kind of wanted to do a doll simulator, and then after it was pitched and all of the teams were coordinated, we didn't discard the original idea, but we branched out and we are leaning heavily into the horror aspects of the game. So the atmosphere that we're kind of going for is very Louisiana inspired. It's Edwardian era New Orleans, so that's around 1901 to 1910. And the game is very minigame focused. So in-game puzzles are all centered around minigames, and the player must repair damaged dolls that are possessed by evil spirits.
Wow.
And the team's game designers came up with strategic puzzles that the player has to repair the dolls and cleanse their spirits alongside just repairing them.
That sounds really fun. Sounds really incredible. So you kind of talked about the idea. How did you arrive at this project idea? Did you actually pitch it? Or was it more of a team effort? So you pitched it. Okay. Can you talk to me about that process?
For sure. I pitched it along with another classmate of mine. We came up with the original idea for the game, and we pitched it before major production even began and they started putting teams together. We were really inspired by lots of minigame focused games. Like we looked at Cooking Mama, we looked at WarioWare games, we looked at this old DS game, Trauma Center Under the Knife.
Wow.
Like we were just kind of scrubbing the internet for anything that was super minigame focused and time management based.
Yeah.
And we knew we wanted the game to be spooky, but we didn't even think about leaning into making this a horror game until teams were put together and everyone really put their brains together.
Sounds like a real collaborative process.
100%.
So, I mean, how far into the project are you? Have y'all had to like rescope, rescale, change the nature of the project so far?
So as of today, actually, we are in beta 3, which is the phase right before we reach gold. The gold phase would be us spending a few weeks gathering marketing materials, getting everything set up for itch.io and for Steam, everything we need for release. So right now, for the remainder of this beta sprint, we're working on finishing up everything that makes the game solid. So that's texturing any in-game assets, polishing up character animations, editing readability of UI, honestly, anything that would just make the game playable. And as far as rescoping, we had to cut down a lot more than we ever really expected. We had concepted multiple dolls that would have to be repaired rather than just the one that you'll see on our cover art. 2 of them actually continued to make it to the stage where they've been modeled, rigged, UV textured, but they are not put in engine yet. But we do anticipate to work on this game later after release and hopefully have it updated and patched to where all of these dolls will be something that the player can repair.
Wow. Okay. So kind of some stretch goals in there, right?
Some big stretch goals, but I think it would be really nice, especially if this game does well on itch or Steam. I think it would be interesting if we could come back and collaborate.
Well, you'll definitely get a download from me. I promise you that. So we kind of talked about rigging. What exactly is your role in the project? Is it rigging focused, or did you take a back seat and let someone else take the reins on rigging?
So I've definitely been working on rigging. I've kind of been functioning as the art lead of the project in Lafayette. We have another in Seattle, but I definitely took over rigging because everyone else was like, please, we don't like rigging. And not that that was an issue for me. I was like, heck yeah, I get to do something that I love and that I potentially want to do as a job one day. I will 100% do this. No complaints from me. So I've been working on rigging, but I've mainly been focused on the character creation side and making sure to put out any fires there, while Seattle has a lot of the environment focus.
Okay. So we're collaborating across campuses. That's really, it's really exciting. So we've been talking about it a lot. I'd love to see some of the work from your project. Is there anything that you could show us?
For sure, 100%. Excellent. So I'm going to start off with us in Unreal, actually.
Right. So let's see. Okay. Wow. So yeah, creepy for sure.
Yes. So this is just to give a brief overview of the environment. Like I said, I mainly worked on the character, which you can see right here with our updated textures, but the environment was a collaboration across Lafayette and Seattle.
Wow.
So it's been a lot of texturing, a lot of modeling, a lot of UVing.
Yeah. Oh, look at the light come through. That's really cool. That's incredible.
Yes.
So this is one of the dolls, correct?
Yes, this is our doll. His name is Belly Mouth.
Belly Mouth.
So creative.
Appropriately named, to say the least.
For sure.
I
could also give you a look at our some of our gameplay systems as well, if you'd like to take a look at that.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Some UI here, okay.
Yes, so we were really going for a diegetic UI. We wanted everything to seem as if it was in the scene itself. We don't want anything that just looks like a button that's non-diegetic.
Yeah, sure. It's very immersive, to say the least.
And that's definitely what we were going for. We kind of wanted the player to feel like they are trapped in this attic. Like we were really pushing for this horror, but kind of still keeping it like, spooky. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to fast forward through here a little bit. So we do have this Lazy Susan table action going on right here,
Oh, I see.
um,
Okay.
where you can spin and reach your different tools. And there are about 10 different mini games on the different body parts, which would be the torso, the left arm, the right arm, the head.
Wow.
So here they're demonstrating the cutting mini game.
And this is to cleanse the dolls, correct?
Yes.
The process of cleansing the dolls? Okay.
So this section right here is repairing the dolls and
Okay.
kind of fixing up everything that's wrong with them. And after each repair, you have to come and do this side puzzle, which this would be the cleansing of the doll.
Okay, okay, I see.
Here's the sewing one. This one is fun. It's almost like pulling back one of those race cars that you wind up and let it shoot. And
Yeah.
if you are to hit any of those alligator clamps there, you lose a life, and that
Okay.
candelabra will lose a flame.
That's a really cool effect. I like they all integrated a candelabra into it.
Thank you.
Very stylistic, and I love the integration of the various mini games here.
Thank you. So yeah, we're still working on, it's still very much a work in progress. End of beta will make things a lot easier to see.
Sure.
But we have plans to be able to pull out a lot more creepy things, like pulling out eyeballs, pulling out teeth from these dolls. Like,
Yeah.
but we didn't want to push too far into gore. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure.
We
Maintain
wanted
the
this
horror
to still
element, but keep it open, right? To a
exactly,
wider audience.
exactly, for sure.
It's a great design decision. So look, great gameplay. Do you have anything to show us, like on the rigging side, something in progress potentially? We can see
100%.
kind of behind the curtain, right?
Yeah, so I can show you some animations that we have. So another student, he modeled this character and is also working. We have two people working on animation here, but I kind of just wanted to show behind the scenes with the rig because that's something that I worked on, and you can see the skin weights and everything like that. So I have about 3 different animations that you can see. So this is one of the reactions to when you cut Belly Mouth's arm. He's going to kind of lose his mind a little bit. He's like, "Please don't touch my arm."
Not there. That is really interesting, and it's interesting to see the 3D aspect, right? So you're working in not just X and Y, but X, Y, and Z, correct?
Exactly. You move from between concepting, and then you move to Maya, then you have to move to in-engine, and
Maya is what is it? Maya exactly?
so Autodesk Maya is a program. You can do a little bit of everything in it. That's where I get all the rigging done with the help of Advanced Skeleton, which is a very like hands-on rigging tool. But also a lot of our like gray boxing for modeling starts off in Maya. Animation is done in Maya. It's kind of the building block of everything 3D.
Well, the work looks fantastic.
Thank
Complex
you.
to say the least. Yeah, above my head for sure. I have nothing but respect for my artists out there. With that being said, I do have a couple more questions for you to close out the stream here. And that is specifically, have you had any challenges in the development process? And if you did, how did you overcome them?
Yes, so we did have a few challenges, not many of them being like technical issues or anything like that, but the main issue that I think our team faced was learning each other's strengths and how to play to them, because everybody has something different that they're interested in for sure. Everyone has a dream role in the project that they want to do, and you really don't want to limit any creative expression or step on any toes. So we really had to navigate that learning curve, and it's been a big learning experience. We're definitely still learning how to overcome these challenges as we navigate through this project, but open and honest communication is the only way to get through that.
And I would imagine that's a really valuable skill to have in industry, right? Once you're at the professional level and you are involved in game development or film production, being able to work with those alongside you can be a challenge, right? But it's a skill that we work on, we develop, and I'm glad you're getting some experience with that at this level, right?
For sure.
And lastly, what are your plans for after AIE? Any dream destinations, positions, studios, or are you looking for work outside of the games and film industry?
So definitely, when I started coming to AIE, I kind of had the ambition. I was like, oh, I'm going to work in a big studio. I'm going to make a AAA game. And, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having those ambitions. But I do want to switch up my focus a bit after AIE. After talking to my professor, I learned that we can do a lot more than just the games industry. You can work in military, you can work in simulations. So I would be happy with any position where I could spend most of my time either focusing on character art or rigging. But as of right now, I'm looking at positions to become a forensic sketch artist. So that kind of
Hey,
entails learning a lot about anatomy to accurately make sketches about missing persons or any individuals that law enforcement are looking for.
that is incredible. I mean, look, different applications of the skills that we're teaching, right? Glad to hear that you are expanding your search and you're finding something that you're particularly passionate about.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, with that being said, if you'd like to learn more about our game art and animation course or any of the other courses that we offer on campus, on the Lafayette campus, that includes game programming, game design and production, filmmaking as well, and additionally a 3D animation and special effects course specifically for film. If that is something that interests you, I would love to show you our website here. If you do want to find out more, you can visit our website, that is aie.edu. If you'd like to join us for an event, you would click on the events page here. We do have an open house quickly approaching on June 13th. Sign up, register, and come join us on campus. We'd love to host you and show you around. Additionally, if you'd like to get your career started in the games and film industry, you could apply at the link here. It's a simple process, only take you about 5 minutes, and it is the first step to beginning your career in the games and film industry. With that being said, I think that is going to do it for the live stream today. Thank you for joining us. Mac, thank you so much for talking about your experience with us at AIE, and we hope that you join us for the next one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.